everybody. This is day 1938 days since Richard was forcibly removed from his barracks room. This is all corroborated by evidence that we have taken to the arms room. This is all corroborated by evidence that we have. Mountains, robust evidence, and his life was taken from him and his body stolen off of Fort Bliss. This is all corroborated by a robust amount of evidence that we have and taken over to trafficked over to Mexico, which now we have more evidence and confirmation through the letters that President Trump sent us. This is that Richard was a whistleblower, that he died in the line of duty, that he died a hero, and all of the narrative that was presented by traitors, and we know that there are traitors in the military, like Lieutenant General Sean Bernabe, like General Garrett, like General McConville, like General Donna Martin, like General what was that other guy's name anyway? Mealy. You know, they're such traitors. And so we know that now. We've known it for a long time. From the beginning, we knew that something was up, something was stinky. And now we know through this little gathering of, of representatives or senators, representatives, whatever, they're traitors. They're absolute traitors, inciting sedition, inciting confusion, absolutely confusion, and even mutiny. With their little video that they did. And President Trump absolutely has every cause, every right, every corroborating evidence. Least we forget what they have done. The little music video, very quickly put together. You can't forget what they did. They bent the knee, which was so anti-patriotic the way they did it. And, did a lot of illegal orders themselves, pushed illegal orders with the Cobra strikes, with the mask, with the 6 feet apart, with the this, with the that, least we forget what they did to our children, what they did to our schools, what they did to our businesses, what they did, and then they have the gall to put that together like they're patriots. It's really disgusting. It's so disgusting. And we absolutely stand next to President Trump in this, because we have not forgotten. And of course, what they did to Richard, for all of this as a federal witness to the criminal activity that they, these traitors profit off of. Okay. And they just mean so many people harm. They're up to no good. They're absolutely up to no good. So let's see if I'm on even. Oh gosh. It's so late. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm coming in and I'm full of vim and vigor. Sometimes, there's no time to sleep. And so, it's like, whoo. But we are so focused. We're very, very, we're glad to see the troops on the Mexican shore. And, Uh, Absolutely, Chihuahua needs a lot of American troops. A lot of American troops in Chihuahua, Mexico. Rightfully so, because the cartel, it's a failed state. You can't deal with the prosecutors there, the governor there. Uh, I mean, look at look at how many death certificates are botched. When you have a state that can't even give you legitimate death certificates, it's a failed state. If they are carrying on a corpse recycling dumping ground, right? To commit fraud, in order to um, tamper with documents so that they can uh, repeatedly for the same corpse collect humanitarian aid. This is a total failed state. When they have an oil pipeline that they can't even secure, that their own Attorney General Cesar Paneche, his own business, is tapping into, siphoning out billions of barrels of oil, and of course diesel and gas, to sell in his own place or to sell back to the government, which belongs to the government, which belongs to the people. And so it's just absolute triple fraud there. This is a failed state. When you have a group, a cartel group, going in to a public event, horse racing event, to uh, execute, professionally execute 11 people, 11 opposing cartel. This is a failed state. When you, I mean, I go on and on and on with example on and on. And when it's a failed state, then President Trump or Governor Abbott or, any like American official cannot negotiate because there's nothing to negotiate with. There's no one to negotiate with. It's a failed state. And, I'm hearing that it's almost a failed narco country. And so then, of course, if they are harming our U.S. citizens, if they are harming the U.S. economy, if they are infiltrating into our cities, into our military installation, and committing fraud over and over again, and even violent crimes like murder on our military installation, and then trafficking the bodies for body disposal or for organ harvesting, then it is the duty of the commander in chief and the Department of War to stop it, to absolutely stop it. So, should American troops go into Chihuahua? I think that the evidence is overwhelmingly declaring it necessary for the U.S. Army, U.S. military to go into Chihuahua, Mexico. We want our sons' remains, and we want a secure border, and we want a secure military installation, because you know what? Voluntary sons and daughters of the United States go to military installations, and they should live in safety there, or with security. But because the security has been breached, has been infiltrated by the likes of Woody Hunt, like the likes of the Mormon um, cross transnational faction that is in collusion and um, business with cartel and foreign and domestic enemies of our country, then it is the duty of the President of the United States. It doesn't matter if it is a Democrat or a Republican, it is the duty of the President of the United States to stop it, to secure our border, to secure our military installation, to secure those barracks. And if the state that crime is coming out of is a failed state, then it is the duty of the President of the United States to go into those countries and establish security. And this is why there is no doubt in our mind why these traitors, and I'm just wondering, you know, you have to understand NASA and all that started at White Sands Missile Range. Okay. uh, it all started there. All these missiles, all these. I was born on the range. My dad was ADA. My dad, uh, Richard Schnabel, yes, he was born in the United States at Portland, Oregon. Richard Walter Schnabel, but he was German descent, right? My grandparents were German immigrants. And it's the Germans that came over after the war that started the missile rocket program there at White Sands Missile Range. My parents belonged to the German American Club. We have an understanding of what was going on there. And for the fraud that we know, the over, it is just over and beyond the fraud, the outright theft that has been going on there. And for that to be connected to these very people, Mark Kelly, that would put this PSYOP video together to incite sedition, to incite mutiny, to incite chaos. Because if anything, it incites confusion within the United States military and intelligence community. It is such a terrible thing. What these traitors are absolute traitors. What they just did with this video. And their finances and whoever their donors are absolutely needs to be looked at. And anybody else, they would be investigated. But these are, officials, government officials. They work for us. We need to know what in the world, what are their conflicts of interest? Because they are not, they're supposed to be, and they're paid to represent and defend the Constitution of the United States, but that is not what they're doing. Least we forget about the mask, about the 6 feet apart, about the you can't sing in your choir, about all the businesses that were shuttered, about the schools that were shuttered, about the children, what they had to suffer, about the 500,000 children that were trafficked through Fort Bliss. Least we forget, and of course, what happened to our son, Richard Halliday. So there, um, it is there's no doubt that this response was because of the southern border, um, the relationship with Mexico, um, and their relationship, wanting it to be, their actions tell you that they want it to be a failed state. That's what's so disgusting about they want the Mexican people that have had enough. They've had enough just like us. We've had enough. We're, uh, you know, the tolerance only goes for so long. And they've had enough. And so, matter of fact, I saw some video and audio inviting uh, Trump and the American military into Mexico because they know that they can't depend on their own. They're sick of it. They're sick of their failed state. So, this is a very good thing to see that our president is absolutely taking his obligation and his duty seriously. And there are many that are trying to sabotage, just like they did with the whole Cobra strike thing, just like the whole 6 feet apart, stay in your house. Don't go in the sunshine. The sunshine is the most cleanest, purifying. If you're sick, you go out into the sun, right? You go out into the sun. They're telling you to stay in the house. The opposite, the opposite. They want you to be sick. They wanted you to be sick. You cannot trust these people. Um, so President Trump is absolutely doing what he is supposed to be doing, and they are going to try to sabotage. If they will sabotage with the Walmart mass shooting case, which they did, sabotage the Trump administration with the Walmart mass shooting case, they did. Sabotage it with the whole stay in your house 6 feet apart, wear a mask, take a Cobra strike, yada, yada, yada. They'll do that. Sabotage the economy, of course. Sabotage the price of oil by, you know, uh, really giving a green flag to the Pemex by allowing Cesar Peniche to live in Texas when he knowingly, with his business, siphoned billions of barrels of oil from the Pemex pipeline. You know, because where are the prosecutors? Well, they're broken. It's broken. And that includes in El Paso. You- Do you think Carlos Manuel Salas is going to prosecute? Do you think that uh, Montoya, James Bonneau Montoya, Mr. 2028 stamp, is going to prosecute? is Cesar Hargi going to prosecute? Not when you just have 11 big cartel Sinaloa leaders being gunned down by the La Linea. We already have an official that retired. He's like, okay, that's it for me. I retire. That's it. I retire. Can't handle this anymore. I'd like to keep my life a little longer. Yeah. And oh, I'm just thinking about Jaime Esparza and how dirty he is, and how the media presents them like they're, like sliced bread or something, right? The next best thing of sliced bread. They present them, in the media. They are just so corrupt with Bob Moore and Kacherga and the Mayellas and all of them. No, the whole Walmart mass shooting case and all the I gotta have my open checkbook. I gotta siphon from the American exploit taxpayer money as much as I can so I can go do my golfing, so I can go play my golfing with my buddies. Uh, you know, and I'm talking about Joe Spencer with Jaime Esparza, with um, Judge Madrano, right? Judge Sam Madrano, the golfing buddies, the golfing buddies. I have to have my open checkbook and just delay, seal, delay, do a gag order, whatever. Uh, you know, and then you have then if you put in a complaint, you got Sylvia Barunda Firth, you got the sister of El Diario, and then you find out she sits on the board that rules over El Paso Matters. Absolutely, President Trump is doing the right thing. Absolutely. And it takes someone with a lot of courage. He's absolutely amazing, man. We saw that when they tried to take his life. He was absolutely amazing. I can't watch that video enough because it's so inspiring. The fight, 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 the fight, fight, fight. It's so inspiring. And it's so real. It's so real in this very fabricated, all this fabricated evidence, this manufactured evidence, the tampered evidence, with all of that stuff. It's really nice to see something real, and it was real. And even Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook was like, oh my gosh, that was just so cool. That was so real. Um, I think he called it badass. I think he said it wasn't that badass, right? It was so real. President Trump's reaction is never what they quite expect. And we have to stand behind him because he's a leader, and you have to stand behind him and let him lead to secure our border and our military installations. And with that, Mexico will get back their sovereignty unless they want to become a 51st state or something, right? Um, he'll always gaslight with things like that, with um, Greenland and Canada and Mexico, Puerto Rico, things like this. Anyway, it's just amazing. This whole thing is really amazing. And, a lot of stuff that we're investigating right now that I'd love to talk to you about, because of the what's going on in Vinton with the election tampering. Just for mayor, they're just so desperate there. They're so desperate to keep their criminals in power that they will even tamper with a Vinton mayor election. So there is some criminal complaints that we're working on that I will absolutely announce. Most of the time, I don't announce them because we've put in so many. But I think some of these we will announce or give hints to. I think that that's necessary at this point. The whole thing with Chris Martin, and his alliance with Martin Funeral Homes, with him working at Concordia Cemetery, having access, and part of his job is repatriation of remains across the border. So, you can, he absolutely could go back and forth through that border. And of course, with his role at the Anthony, I'll just say Anthony. It's more little towns, right? Vinton and Anthony and more, where he's in the fire department that gives him first responder access to all kinds of first responder, even mass killings like the Walmart mass shooting. And then, of course, his veteran status. He had problems he told me he had um, big legal problems when he was in the military. I don't know if that has to do with his LGBTQ community. I don't know. But he absolutely had problems in the military. So, I don't know. I know he's up to no good. I know that having the alliance with Martin Funeral Homes and his cemetery, um, and his the historical radio stuff, right? The historical radio stuff. Um, yeah, that's all a lot of connections there that will absolutely shock you. And and here he is going into the desert to dig for Richard's head. That was not an easy hike. So, so that's all coming out. And when more, we're posting as fast as we can, and we want to be very accurate um, of the information that we're giving everybody. Really good news because of what's happening with the US being courageous enough to say no more, no more, um, and showing that they're absolutely willing to go into Mexico, which is wonderful news for us because that is necessary at this point for the repatriation of our son's remains. Um, and the good news that the El Paso Criminal Law Magistrate Court is being investigated. That's good news. I think I'd be very shocked if Montoya wasn't being investigated right now. And, but, we've been waiting a long time for Leilani Hart to be arrested for her confession on the worst type of crimes against children, the failure to report the worst type of crimes against children, the facilitating of the worst type, her actions in facilitating the worst type of crimes against children, her heart daycare, facilitating the worst type of crimes against children, her immigration status. She gave a lot of indication in there that she was illegal. So I think she needs to be sent back to Samoa or arrested. So never to come back to this country, never to come back. Not when you, because the crimes are just so high with her. It's just incredible. She's up to no good, and she ruins people's lives. Um, So, yeah, lots of investigations going on right now. And is sometimes for others, not for us anymore. We're done. We are so done. We're ready for these arrests. We're waiting. We're willing. We are absolutely waiting for these arrests. We're wanting them, right? We're wanting. What is it in My Fair Lady? Her, willing and wanting and waiting for these arrests to happen. So, and we're absolutely doing everything we can to file, and let all of the agency know what um, crimes are being committed and what they have a duty to respond to and to take care of, because they get taxpayer money. We pay them. We pay them. They work for us. We don't work for them. They work for us. This is what makes our country great. They work for us. And, it's gotten turned upside down, and they have to be, it has to be turned right side up again. So, and if that means that they have to get rid of some agencies and stuff, I heard that they're going to get rid of the Department of Education. They're working hard on that. I hope they do, because education was better before that agency was here, and everyone did just fine. Better, way better, way better. So, thank you everybody for coming on all the time, and I'm just so sorry it's so late all the time. But it can't be helped, because this information is coming in, and we have to understand it, and we have to post it, and we have to then file the complaints, and for if you feel like, oh, I'd really like to help, what can I do? Uh, well, the answer to that is to share, to like, to share, to comment. Like, share, comment. I did post our X uh, page to join if you'd like to do that, because it's the numbers. It's the numbers that force our agencies, along with all the paperwork. You have to have it all documented and recorded, right? So you can say, well, I had it documented, I had it recorded. Um, and so you have to have all that done, as well as all the pressure from all the people to force them to do. Really, you have to drive them to do the right thing, and remind them that they work for us. So thank you so much. God bless you. God bless you. If you speak Spanish, you can please share all of this information in Spanish. We really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. God bless you, and I will see you tomorrow, God willing. Bye bye.